Hi guys, this is Tony with Geek Designs. Today I'm back with another tutorial. Today I'm going to give you a rundown of what Adobe Muse is. Remember, tutorial videos come out every Friday, so stay tuned for that and get subscribed if you're not. So you may be asking yourself, what is Adobe Muse? Well, Adobe Muse is one of Adobe's newer apps that is based around web design. It's based on the backbone of InDesign, but allows you to design websites without code. You can work on the visuals and make sure that it works without even touching a single line of code. Now, when this first came out, it created a lot of controversy. Some people like code, some people don't like code, blah, blah, blah. Whatever. If you want code, use Dreamweaver. It still exists. It's still great. If you don't like code and you just want to make a good website, use Muse. Now, there have been recent updates in the past to make sure that Adobe Muse keeps up with current web design trends, including responsive design, which is now included in this. So let's go over the basics of a website. So when you open up Adobe Muse, you'll get this just like every other Adobe app. Let's click New. Now you'll get this new site panel. You get to choose the max width. That's the max width of your website, depending on which device it's on, which would be a desktop, but it's going to be the max width of working area. Let's choose just, since 1080 monitors are so popular, I will just choose 1080. You can choose columns to be built in. You can choose fluid or fixed width. Fluid width is another term for responsive design. You're able to choose at what point does it change. It's really easy to use. We'll go into that into another tutorial. Fixed width is more of an older style of designing a mobile website. It'll say that when you go on a mobile device, this is the exact website you're going to want. When you go tablet, this is the exact website you're going to want to go on. There's pros and cons to both. It really just comes down to what your specific need is. We'll stick with fluid width for this tutorial. We're not going to go into it. Advanced settings, you can choose what your minimum width is, what your minimum height is. These come in handy, really important for, say, if you're doing a mobile website. You can choose your margins, your padding. These are all common web design terms. You can choose your resolution and your language, and if you want a sticky footer. We'll click OK just to get going. Now, after you create your blank website, this is what you're going to be presented with. What you're going to basically do is you're going to create your sitemap. So we have our home page. Let's say we have another page. We're going to add it onto the top. By adding a page onto the top, that means it is a main page. Underneath it will be a sub page. So we'll choose services. And I noticed that I missed a page in between these two that needs to be the about. Well, I may just want to delete it, but I can just go here and repopulate one. We'll do about. Now, as you can see, we're going to start working on adding some pages underneath attraction. We already got snow tubing. Now, if we click underneath here, that's going to make a page underneath snow tubing. We don't want to do that. We want to add all the pages underneath attraction. So we're going to click this button. Now, as you can see, we got this bracket that shows these two pages are under that one. So now we want snowboarding. And then skiing. Now, as you can see, we have all these pages under here. It's kind of getting hard to just keep scrolling through this right now. So we can either go up here and change the size of the pages to make it easier if we have a really big website. Or I like how they are, we can just collapse them. Now, as we get to those sections, we can work on them. Now, I hear what you're saying. I want to design it. How do I start designing it? That's a good question. Now, how this works is a similar way if you know how InDesign master pages work. And we will get to that in another tutorial for InDesign. So underneath here you see a thing that says A Master. If we click it, we're going to get a blank page with nothing on it. You're going to see these weird looking things on here. This is for your header. This is for the top of the browser. That's for your footer. That's for the bottom of the browser. Now, whatever we create on this page will show across all of them, which is great. So here's what we're going to do with it. We're going to make our menu and our footer in here, which will allow it to show up on any page. So, how are you going to create a menu in this program? It's real easy, actually. We're going to go over to our widget library over here. This is where you add all your functionality to your website. To add a menu, we're going to go to Menus. We want horizontal, or you could have vertical, but we want horizontal. We're going to click and drag it over. Now we have a working menu. As you can see, it already took all the data from our sitemap and has imported into it. It's showing top level pages, but we want all pages. As you can see, it already has a drop down working for us. That's great. It's horizontal, edit together. We want uniform spacing. That's going to make all of them look the same. I think I like uniform size better. We'll go in and adjust it. Submenus only for the icon. So we'll click this over here. Now we can click and drag. The thing I'm not liking is this font. So let's double click into it till we're on the font. Now as you can see, the text font has appeared. I don't want Georgia. Georgia's a nice font, not for this project though. We'll go over here. We'll choose Helvetica. Helvetica will work as much as I don't like the font. Make it a little bit bigger too. Now, I can hear you. That looks hideous with those buttons. And it's true. But if you go to menu item, you can see we have normal, rollover, mouse down, and active. We'll go to normal. We'll change its fill to none. And don't worry, we'll go over and change the font too. Let's go to swatches, or let's go to our CSS library, sorry. We can roll over. When we mouse down, it'll change to that color. When it's active, it'll change to this color. And just like that, we can also go in here. We're still in normal, as you can see. We want it to be a black font. And that's a quick way to get a menu. We'll go more in depth in the menus in another tutorial, how to edit everything. But we also want that logo over here, so we want to go over here. Drag it in from our CC libraries like you normally would. Works a lot like InDesign. That's the great thing. And now we have our logo. We're shrinking it. We're making it work. Now we got our logo. We're shrinking it. Now the only weird thing about InDesign is that you don't have to hold the shift key to make it work right. It throws me off every time. Let me make the header a little bit bigger so we can have a nice big logo. Now we need a menu header. We're going to get this rectangle tool, bring it over, and make it say, I don't know, we'll find one of these colors that we like. We'll do this blue. Bring it back. By doing our control brackets, we'll go over here to change our opacity down to 20, maybe 40. And now we have a great starting point for a website. Now this is just the master pages, so say we exit out of this master page, you'll see every single one of our web pages has this change. This is the great thing about it. It allows you to do this quick and easily. Now, if you know how to use InDesign, you can learn how to use this. There's some more advanced things that we'll go into about Muse, but the basics are so simple. All your functions are in here. So say if we wanted to add a slideshow, we want a carousel for this home page. We'll find I think we want a basic one. We'll drag it over. It'll give us some placeholder images just for us to work with. So we want it here. We want to change the size of it because, you know, it's just too fat. So we'll bring it over like that. Bring it up a little bit. And oh yeah, we got all this data over here. We don't need that. So as you can see, we're selecting the slideshow itself. There's this blue arrow over here. If you click it, you get all your menus that you have. You get your transitions, you get your fade, or your transition type, play once, autoplay, enable swipe for mobile. We don't want a caption. We don't want a counter. We want previous and next. Now we're going to take this. This is our next. This is our next. We want it over here. And we want it in the center. Now we're in the center as you see that blue line. I'm going to do the same over here. And as you can see, we have a great starting point just for a website. We can have forms. We can have panels like accordions or tablet or tables. We can add social stuff. The thing is, Adobe Muse is so simple. If you don't know how to design a website, you can use this to design it. This was just to get you a good understanding of what Adobe Muse is and how it works. If you're interested in designing websites and don't want to use code, look into the CA of the Creative Cloud. Learn it, play with it, experiment with it. It's great. In the further tutorials, we'll go into more depth in this, how to do a full page, how to do scroll effects, how to do a one-page website, etc., etc. This is just the basics. I hope you learned something. If you have any questions, just ask them in the comments down below. I'll get down there and answer them for you. Remember, tutorial videos come out every Friday, so stay tuned for that. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.